This is your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Thursday, the 11th day of June in the year 2020. I'm Gordon Mosley. Here is what we're tracking tonight. Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines and incoming chairman of CARICOM, Ralph Gonzalez, has issued a warning that a regional group will not allow the recount of votes in Guyana to be set aside. During an appearance on a radio show in his homeland, the Prime Minister said he is friends with both the President and opposition leader of Guyana, and in his opinion, the vote recount process was properly done and should therefore be used to declare the results of the elections.
I am satisfied that CARICOM will not stand by idly and watch the recount which is properly done for the results to be set aside. We expect the CARICOM Observer Mission to deliver its report, and we expect that what is the recount would be honored, and the Guyana Election Commission will honor that recount and declare the winner in accordance with this recount.
Mr. Gonzalez also said that St. Vincent and the Grenadines stands firmly for democracy and respecting the will of the people in Guyana, adding that CARICOM will not tolerate the stealing of any elections.
Anybody who then wants to challenge anything afterwards can go to court, but you have to declare the winner in accordance with the recount. St. Vincent and the Grenadines stands firmly for democracy and reflecting the will of the people. So that will tell you where we are. I don't have to say anything more. I am straight and plain. CARICOM is not going to tolerate anybody stealing any election.
A high-level CARICOM team which has been scrutinizing the vote recount process is expected to submit its report on the process to the Guyana Elections Commission. That report, along with the report from the Chief Elections Officer, will be studied by the Commission before any final declaration is made by the chairperson of the Elections Commission. Prime Minister Gonzalez was among 5 CARICOM Prime Ministers to visit Guyana just after the elections to hold talks with President David Granger and the political parties that contested the elections, following concerns of fraud after the first Region 4 tabulation. It was President David Granger who later initiated the vote recount and the involvement of a high-level CARICOM team. His decision was supported by the opposition leader and the current chairperson of CARICOM, Prime Minister Mia Mottley of Barbados. The recount and tabulation of ballots were recently completed, and that showed the People's Progressive Party leading its closest rival, the APNU-AFC coalition, by just over 15,000 votes in the undeclared tabulation. The APNU-AFC has been highlighting a number of issues that were uncovered during the recount, which it believes would question the credibility of the elections. The coalition has said the recount uncovered electoral fraud, and it believes only validated votes should be tabulated. Under the recount order, GCOM should complete the entire process within days. More news coming up in a moment.
We all want to stay in touch, right? Now, even more than ever before. So to keep your connection strong, GTT is going 2 for 2. Combine GTT mobile and home internet services and we'll give you 2 gigs of free mobile data each month. With 2 GTT services, you're fully connected at home and on the go. Visit us online at gtt.co.gy/2for2 to learn more and start doing more with 2 for 2 from GTT. Stay safe, stay strong, Guyana. We're in this together.
GBTI is your Guyanese bank, a bank that understands every customer's unique needs, opportunities, challenges, and financial concerns. At GBTI, we see you for you. Whether you're buying a new home or car, planning your next vacation or retirement, saving for your child's future, or whether you're ready to take that bold step of investing in your dream business idea, we are with you every step of the way. We hear your stories and watch you focus on your dreams as we share your aspirations. We are more than just banking. We are a family. We are part of your community. Our commitment extends way beyond the walls of our branches and is demonstrated every day in the opportunities we provide to our individual and business customers. The support, time, and commitment we give back to communities across Guyana to help improve the lives of our Guyanese families. Because we see Guyana through your eyes. Parents and guardians, you are encouraged to tune in to the Guyana Learning Channel, Cable 29 or Channel 42 for daily educational and interactive learning sessions. The nursery program airs from 6 hours to 9 hours. Primary programs from 9 hours to 12 noon. We also air informative documentaries from 12 noon to 13 hours, and our secondary level programs are aired from 13 hours to 15 hours. Please continue to listen to our radio broadcasts. The interactive radio instruction for grades 1 to 3 daily on Voice of Guyana from 9 hours 30 to 10 hours for grade 1 pupils, from 10 hours 30 to 11 hours for grade 2s, and 13 hours to 13 hours 30 for grade 3 pupils. Please remember to tune in to benefit from these educational opportunities. A message from the Ministry of Education.
The following is an important message from the Ministry of Public Health. You can prevent the spread of the COVID-19 virus. If you have the following symptoms: coughing, fever, or difficulty breathing, please stay home. If you don't have these symptoms, then practice social distancing. Avoid crowds. When in a group, keep a distance of at least 3 feet between yourself and other persons. Please wash your hands with soap regularly or use hand sanitizers. The Ministry of Public Health has a hotline to provide information on the coronavirus. Members of the public can call 227-4986 or 624-3067.
Welcome back. The incumbent APNU-AFC coalition this afternoon expressed its surprise and concern over the statements that were made by St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister and incoming CARICOM Chairman Ralph Gonzalez on the Guyana elections vote recount. In a press statement, the coalition stopped short of accusing Prime Minister Gonzalez of direct interference, but reminded that the recount exercise, which is still ongoing, was convened under the auspices of the current chairman of CARICOM, Prime Minister Mia Mottley of Barbados. The coalition said it is therefore concerned that as the incoming chair of the regional grouping, Gonzalez will pronounce on a process that is still ongoing, and even more concerned that he would direct a constitutional body in another CARICOM state in the execution of its duties. Prime Minister Gonzalez, in a statement on a radio program, as we reported earlier, in his homeland, said CARICOM will not stand idly by and allow the results from the vote tabulation to be set aside, adding that a declaration should be based on the vote recount. The coalition said the recount process was now in the second of 4 stages, which deals with the compilation of a report by the Chief Elections Officer. That report will have to take into account all of the observations recorded during the recount. The coalition also said that the CARICOM team, which scrutinized the recount, has not yet completed its own report, as is mandated in the gazetted order for the recount. The APNU-AFC said it is unfortunate that the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, who is himself currently embroiled in an elections petition case in his home country, would take a public position that is prejudicial to the integrity of the process and its eventual outcome. The coalition statement added that it is expected that CARICOM leaders would refrain from any actions or utterances that could undermine the legitimacy of the process and its credible conclusion. Let's tell you now that Chief Justice Roxanne George today accepted an application by attorney Anil Nandlal to withdraw the contempt of court case he filed against the GCOM chairman, the Chief Elections Officer, and the Returning Officer for Region 4. During the appearance via video conference, Mr. Nandlal admitted that he did not have sufficient evidence to proceed with the matter, hence his decision to withdraw the case completely. Mr. Nandlal filed the proceedings back in March, claiming that Mingo, the Returning Officer for Region 4, was in violation of an order of the court in relation to the methodology that should be used for the tabulation of the Region 4 votes from the 2nd of March elections. The court had earlier ordered Mingo to follow the law in tabulating the votes. Following Nandlal's decision to withdraw the case, the Chief Justice reprimanded him for waiting 2 days before the ruling to withdraw the case and wasting the court's time on the matter. She said Nandlal was repeatedly asked whether he was continuing with the case, and he always responded in the affirmative. That all changed on Tuesday when he wrote to the court asking that the matter be withdrawn. Chief Justice George reminded Nandlal that a contempt of court matter is a very serious one. Although she appeared agitated by the late notice to withdraw the case, she accepted the application to withdraw and ordered costs in the sum of $150,000 each for the officials that the case was filed against. Nandlal indicated that he will stand the costs. The Ministry of Finance has announced that the National Treasury is in no position at this time to offer a bailout to the Guyana Sugar Corporation. In a statement last evening, the Finance Ministry pointed to the prevailing national circumstances and the challenges of COVID-19, which have reduced national income as the main reasons behind its position. The Guyana chairman back in May wrote to President David Granger seeking his urgent intervention. The chairman said based on the company's current financial situation, it may run out of cash from the middle of June. But the Finance Ministry in its statement reminded that a $30 billion bond backed by NISIL's assets and guaranteed by the government of Guyana was secured through NISIL to retrofit and revitalize the 3 remaining sugar estates. The ministry said the government remains committed to making Gaisuco a viable partner. In the May 15 letter to President David Granger, Gaisuco Chairman John Dow described the corporation's current financial situation as dire. He said that despite improvements in the productivity of cane, sugar production for the last 2 crops have fallen short of expectations. Health matters to report now, with grade 6 students preparing to return to classes from Monday and sitting the National Grade 6 assessment on the 1st and 2nd of July. The Chief Medical Officer Dr. Shamdev Prasad said parents should have a conversation with their children, especially about the use of masks and the safety precautions they should take against the coronavirus.
Please show them step by step how to put on the mask and to wear it appropriately. Remind them not to touch the front of the mask and to use the straps to remove it when taking a snack. So let them take a plastic or a Ziploc bag and place the mask there until after eating. Remind them to wash hands properly and as soon as they have finished, to put on the mask again.
Dr. Prasad said parents should also give their children an extra mask just in case the one they are wearing falls or becomes soiled. He also encouraged that they be provided with their own hand sanitizer and alcohol-based wipes, which they can use as often as possible.
You can also provide them with their own hand sanitizers and alcohol-based wipes, which they can use as often as possible. Remember to talk to your children about distancing in order to protect themselves and their friends. More importantly, let them understand that things are going to be different at school because of the virus. You have to give them the mental support because you know how challenging preparing for the grade 6 assessment can be.
The Ministry of Education is moving ahead with its plans to reopen schools for students next week who may want to do some revision with their teachers before the examinations. Strict distancing guidelines are going to be in place to ensure the safety of students and teachers. Education officials have indicated it is not mandatory that the students attend the 3 days per week revision sessions, but they should be present for the examinations in July. The total number of active coronavirus cases in Guyana ticked up to 54, as 2 new cases were recorded in the past 24 hours from 44 completed tests. A total of 92 persons have made full recoveries from the disease so far. The Chedijagan International Airport is ensuring all systems are in place for the planned phased reopening of the airport from the 1st of July. A number of safety measures and equipment are being implemented to safeguard airport and airline workers and staff from contracting the coronavirus. Among the new features at the airport are self-check-in machines and full-body scanners to detect temperatures. Public Relations Officer Shanza Samuels told News Source today that the airport will be fully prepared for its opening.
Among our biggest priorities right now is the safety of our passengers, staff, and all other visitors to the airport. So we've done a number of things. One of the most effective things that we have introduced is the thermal cameras. Now this is where, as passengers come through the airport, arriving passengers, that is, the camera takes a body shot of the persons and it records their temperature. So it allows us to effectively monitor body temperature. So in cases where we find above normal temperature, we will quickly segregate those persons from other passengers and send them to the port health authorities, and they'll do the necessary tests and so on from that point.
Ms. Samuels also explained that once an arriving passenger's temperature appears above normal, they'll be segregated from the other passengers and moved to the Port Health Authority for further tests. All arriving and departing passengers will also be screened at the airport, and according to Samuels, announcements about health and safety measures will constantly be aired on monitors throughout the airport and over its public address system.
Where our security aviation officer come into play, because we have a number of them on the ground to ensure that passengers and visitors to the airport follow the necessary protocol. For example, upon entering the terminal building, you have to wear a face mask. And first, the security officers would not allow persons into the terminal building without having their face mask on. So yeah, we have them on the ground to ensure that all COVID-19 measures are adhered to.
Immigration and Customs officers will be suited in special protective gear during their operations for incoming and departure flights. When the airport reopens, it will initially cater for Guyanese citizens, diplomats, permanent residents, repatriation flights, and persons who are returning to their jobs in Guyana. The Chedi Jagan Airport and the Eugene F. Correa International Airport have been closed since March as part of the efforts in Guyana to curb the spread of the coronavirus. The Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions today withdrew its application to the full court for the hearing of an appeal against a High Court decision to dismiss the murder committal against Marcus Bisram. The matter came up in the full court this afternoon and the hearing was conducted via video conference. The full court judges hearing the matter explained that the full court did not have jurisdiction to hear and determine the matter. When Bisram's attorneys moved to the High Court to challenge the DPP's direction to the magistrate to commit him to stand trial, they did so on the judicial review. Appeal of judicial review matters can only be addressed by the Court of Appeal. In their submissions earlier this week, Bisram's attorneys challenged the full court's jurisdiction to hear the appeal, pointing out that it was simply the wrong court. The judges of the full court hearing the matter agreed with the arguments, resulting in the withdrawal of the matter by the DPP. The DPP wanted the full court to set aside and reverse the ruling of Justice Simon Morris Ramlal, who had ruled that the direction to the magistrate by the DPP to commit Bisram to stand trial was unreasonable, unlawful, and was made by ignoring relevant considerations. Attorney Dexter Todd said it is only left now for the DPP to move to the Court of Appeal, and if she does, he and the other defense attorneys will be prepared. Marcus Bisram was extradited from the US last year to face the murder charge in the local courts in relation to the death of carpenter Fayaz Naraindat. The magistrate had dismissed the matter following a preliminary inquiry, but was later directed by the DPP to reopen the inquiry and commit Bisram to stand the High Court trial. It was that direction that was thrown out last week, setting Bisram free. 1 week later, the DPP filed a full court appeal, which has now been withdrawn. A number of other persons are currently awaiting trial in the same case. Bisram was accused of being the mastermind of the carpenter's murder. On the police blotter, moments after robbing a Linden businessman of a sum of money and other items, a 22-year-old bandit was shot dead by the same businessman who pursued him and his accomplice. The dead bandit has been identified as Kevin Batson of First Alley, Wisma, Linden. The incident occurred on Wednesday afternoon in the mining town. According to a police statement, the businessman who operates a hardware store was held at gunpoint by Batson and his accomplice, who pretended at first to be making a purchase in the store. After relieving the businessman of a sum of cash and his valuables, the two robbers left the scene while firing gunshots in the air. The businessman, who is a licensed firearm holder, gave chase and opened fire on the two men. They managed to escape, but when the police responded, they found the injured bandit hiding out in a clump of bushes in the same Wisma area. He was taken to the hospital where he died from gunshot injuries to his hip. Police investigators found an unlicensed firearm and matching rounds, in addition to a mask and other items that he had stolen from the businessman. The dead man's accomplice was apprehended at a house in the Victory Valley area in Linden late yesterday. Across the Region is coming up next.
Wondering how you can access free learning materials for your children? Parents and guardians, please visit the Ministry of Education's website at www.education.gov.gy to access textbooks, past papers, and practice tests to keep your child engaged in continuous learning. When you have accessed the site, go to the Students tab, wait for a second, and choose the appropriate option. You now have access to the resources you need. You are encouraged to take advantage of this opportunity as we strive to provide the best education for the nation's children. A message from the Ministry of Education.
They've made a positive impact on the heavy-duty transportation industry in Guyana since they've arrived. Guyanese are amazed at their power, durability, efficiency, and superior handling capabilities. These are brand new trucks, manufactured in partnership with German, Italian, and French companies. They have a powerful reputation for operating under very adverse Guyanese conditions and come with full after-sales service and spare parts. They're the most sought-after trucks today, with over 500 units in Guyana, and they're available in over 100 countries, including South America and the Caribbean. Be smart. Buy brand new ST Howo trucks today. Call 608-4998 and arrange for an inspection at ST Truck Guyana Incorporated, Block B, Public Road, Covenant, East Bank, Demerara.
We are legions of men standing strong, but never too proud to stoop and help someone. We must send a clear signal to all. Do right. Walk in upright ways, knowing that's what being a man is all about. And ever aware that things will only get worse when good men do nothing. Stand strong. Be the one to live right.
Are you washing your hands correctly? Here are some tips on when and how to wash your hands. Step 1. Wet your hands with clean water. Step 2. Then apply soap. Step 3. For 10 to 15 seconds, lather your palms together. Always remember to pay attention to your fingers, especially your nails and tips. And don't forget the back and between your fingers. Step 4. Rinse hands with clean water for about 20 seconds. Step 5. Dry hands with a clean paper towel or tissue.
But when should you wash your hands? After using the toilet, before and after eating, preparing or handling uncooked food, after playing with pets or caring for animals, after sneezing and coughing or blowing your nose, before and after changing babies or caring for others.
Frequent hand washing or using a hand sanitizer with alcohol as an alternative will remove viruses and bacteria from your hands.
A message from the Ministry of Public Health in collaboration with PAHO WHO.
Across the region right now, CMC reports tonight that a senior government minister in Trinidad and Tobago has hinted at the possibility of general elections during Trinidad and Tobago later this year, being held in the month of September. The finance minister, Colm Imber, told the parliamentary committee that there is a possibility that the elections could be held before September 30 this year. He was addressing the Standing Finance Committee hearing on the increase of $43 million Trinidad and Tobago dollars for the Elections and Boundaries Commission as part of his preparation for the elections. He told the committee that in anticipation of that possibility, the Ministry of Finance looked at expenditure over the years with respect to a general election and came up with a supplementary appropriation for the Commission for the elections. In neighboring Brazil, 2 Brazilian state governors have been accused of corruption related to spending on medical equipment in the fight against COVID-19. In Rio de Janeiro, the Legislative Assembly voted to open impeachment proceedings against the governor Wilson Witzel for alleged corruption. In the northern state of Para, federal police raided offices and the home of Governor Helder Barbalo. Both governors deny any wrongdoing and both have clashed with the president over his handling of the pandemic and his opposition to introducing lockdowns. And finally tonight, international news. The coronavirus pandemic is accelerating in Africa, according to the World Health Organization. The WHO's African Regional Director said it was spreading beyond capital cities and that a lack of tests and other supplies was hampering responses. But she said it did not seem as if severe cases and deaths were being missed by the authorities. So far, Africa has been the continent least affected by the coronavirus. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley, reporting.